We are romping around the underworld with Wendell and Wild. Christy and Alonso here. If you have not subscribed yet, you're missing out on cool stuff. You guys, we hit 18,000 and beyond, right? So my goal has been 20. I'm like, we're really close to 18. We did it. We did it, Joe. We're almost there. We got 2 more thousand to go. And then what should we do when we hit 20,000? Like, what's a cool thing for us to do?
Oh, God, I have no idea. You're putting me on the spot.
Something wild.
Sure. There
we'll
you
think about
go.
it. We'll think about it. Alonso's going to describe this really cool movie, which is going to be out on Netflix starting on Friday.
Bad things happen to people I'm close to. They die.
I told them.
Whoa.
Yes, but in limited release right now. And if you can see this in a movie theater, I mean, it's Henry Selick. You should see it on the big screen. It's a collaboration between Henry Selick and Jordan Peele. And you can definitely sense of both of what each of them is bringing to the table here. Lyric Ross from This Is Us voices a teenage girl named Kat. As a child, her parents died in a car accident. She has always blamed herself for that accident and has lived with the guilt over it. She winds up after several different horrifying institutions in a Catholic boarding school. There are also 2 demons named Wendell and Wild who she can see and they can see her because she is a hell maiden. What is a hell maiden? Still not sure, to be entirely sure. But anyway, but Wendell and Wild are currently in trouble with their dad, who is, I guess, Satan, voiced by Ving Rhames. Wendell and Wild, incidentally, are Key and Peele. And so they spend all day mining hair cream to keep him from going bald. But they discover that the hair cream has the power to bring people back from the dead. So they get Kat to bring them back to Earth with the promise of reincarnating her dead parents. But then the local rich people who have pretty much destroyed the town that they live in, including the brewery once owned by Kat's parents, hire them instead to revive the dead members of the town council so they can push through a private prison that they've been trying to get on the books for years. And there is so much going on here, both visually and narratively, but it is a complete wonder and a delight to look at constantly. It's stop motion animation and it's really, really cool. Like, stick around for the credits because they do the thing that I always love where they walk you through like a time lapse of how fast it is to make this all look seamless. It is so gorgeous in a tactile way, in a disturbing way. I love the combination of textures and materials here from like the characters look like they're made of like the rubber dolls almost, but then there's a real like tangibility to the material of their coat or whatever. And like the colors are just rich and it's constantly alive and surprising and you never know where it's going. And Key and Peele, I understand, improvised a lot of this and then they made the characters reflect what they were doing, what they were riffing in the recording booth. Right.
Because they look like them. And so that's really fun is to see them play off of each other. They have such a fantastic and a really fertile comic pairing for so many years. Angela Bassett is really good as this one nun at the Catholic girls' school who there's more to her going on than you expect.
James Hong.
James Hong is the priest who runs the school. And it's a kid's movie about the perils of private prisons?
Is it a kid's movie? I was going to ask you that, parent, because like there's the death of her parents happens very early in the film, and it's not like a Disney version. This is like a young girl is basically told by her mother, swim to the surface, and she watches as the car sinks away and drowns. I'm like, okay, so we're aiming at an older demographic here.
Yeah,
perhaps.
for sure. Like, you're right. Like Disney movies, there's always a dead parent. That's a given, and that's traumatic when you're a kid. But this is, she feels responsible for it. And I think that's what makes her maybe a conduit for these demons. The fact that she has a vulnerability. I think that's what her purpose is. When you're like, what does it mean to be a hell maiden? I think it just means that she is like a conduit to the outside world for them to wreak havoc or achieve whatever it is that they want, whatever devious plans they have. And so they can't, it's kind of like Beetlejuice. Like they can't get up there she's their Winona Ryder.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
that's what I think a hell maiden is. Nick is 13 almost and like totally dug it. I think tweens, like maybe 10, 11 and up. It's not really for little kids. And I think also just the character design would be potentially so off-putting for very little children that it might be kind of scary for them. But it is endlessly alive. I love the soundtrack. From the very beginning, you've got like Fishbone and the Specials. You've got all these really cool black punk bands like Death and Bad Brains. A great use of Living Color, Cult of Personality. So I had fun, but Nick and I are like, what's this about? Like, as it's going along, like, what's this really about here? You know?
Yeah, this feels like it's about 3 movies crammed together, you know, and Dave and I were just talking about this on Linoleum Knife, and he loves Jordan Peele's brand of kind of maximalism, whereas I find it a little exhausting. It always seems to me like he makes movies as though no one were ever going to allow him to make another one. And so he just has to put it all in there. And my joke is Jordan Peele needs to remove one piece of jewelry before leaving the house. Like, I think there's too much going on here. But at the same time, everything that goes on here is so exquisitely crafted and looks so cool. And yeah, the music choices are great and meaningful. So yeah, there's a lot to like here. And I wish I could see this in a theater. I watched a Netflix link. But I just was sort of exhausted by the end of it. Maybe down the line, I'll have repeat viewings and it'll all fall together more for me, but I just found it a little too much.
Yeah, I like Lyric Ross as well because she has to find this balance of being tough, but also kind of sweet and sensitive and
vulnerable,
and open to evolving and all that. Yeah, it's kind of like Nope. Like we admired so much about the ambition of Nope and the scope of it and what it's trying to say. Like it's trying to say so much, and here we're trying to say a lot too. But does it all get lost because there's too much going on? I agree with you on that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I'm saying 7.3 just because I was like dazzled by it visually and I never knew where it was going.
I said 6.8, but I mean, yeah, I'm certainly on the same page in terms of like the way this movie looks and the things that it does, again, on a craft level, you know, flawless. But I just think there's other things that are weighing it down. But you should check it out. If you can't get to it in a theater this week, it will be dropping on Netflix Friday. I'm sure it'll be a nice, fun kind of Halloween weekend choice if you're programming your selections for the holidays. So yeah, give it a look.